evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, Tullahoma High School has consolidated its logos. The summer feeding program is rolling across Tullahoma, and Motlow is hosting STEM camps. We'll have all these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Welcome back. Tullahoma High School will finally have consistency regarding its logos as a beveled T Wildcat and new Paul were unveiled earlier this week. The updated T honors the rich history of the high school with a modern approach and will be used for all THS organizations, not solely athletics. Several versions of the T and Wildcat have existed for years, but now the school has decided to be consistent, focusing on one Wildcat, one T, and one Paul. Tullahoma High School Principal Jason Quick said, quote, "Our traditional beloved THS crest from the 1960s will remain as the official academic logo for our schools. Similarly, the iconic T-Spikes band logos introduced in 2003 will remain the same. The Tullahoma T will have an enhanced bevel look that will add depth and character, and the official Wildcat logo is actually a derivative of the Wildcat on the crest. Only one new logo is being introduced, called the Red Rock Paul. The school's south entrance features red rock, a boulder much like on the campus of the University of Tennessee, that students can paint and decorate throughout the school year. In the logo, the rock has been formed to look like a paw as it encompasses the Wildcat spirit. This is an exciting time for our school as we just closed the first century of Wildcats and now are entering the next 100 years, beginning with the 2022-23 school year," end quote. Before the modernized T, Wildcat, and new Paul logo were released to the public, Tullahoma High School spent many months with a committee to determine the best options. Those committee members included THS coaches, staff, student representatives, and community members whose voices were used to help in the evaluation of existing and creation of a new or updated logos. During its research, the committee determined that there were over 20 different variations of logos being used at the school. With so many versions in existence, the committee decided that having consistent logos was something that the school needed moving forward. Principal Quick added, quote, "After lengthy reviews and meetings, the committee's consensus was that our school needed to consolidate the many logos and colors to better brand the look of Tullahoma High School. While keeping tradition was important for our committee, creating logos to provide an additional appeal to the current generation of Wildcats was also a focus. We believe the introduction of the Red Rock Paul will be well received by all THS shareholders and provide an additional option for those supporting the THS Wildcats. We truly believe this rebranding of Tullahoma High School allows us to standardize our presence while embracing our past and looking forward toward the future," end quote. Following discussions with the committee, the findings were shared with the Tullahoma City School Board of Education. During the presentation, board members asked questions and offered feedback to the committee. The hard work of this group was evident, and moving into the upcoming school year, the new Bevel T Wildcat and Red Rock Paul logo accurately represents Tullahoma High School while also containing a new, sleek look. TCS Athletic Director John Olive said, quote, "Getting a large group of people to agree on anything can sometimes be impossible. Following our research, it was unanimous to move forward with these logos. It's an exciting time for Tullahoma High School, and we are thrilled to have this consistency among our athletic teams," end quote. News leaders Andrew Todd stopped by Lanham Library this week and spoke with Tullahoma City School Director of Nutrition, Angela Cardwell, about this year's summer feeding program for school-aged kids in the area.
Here at Lanham Library today, and I'm speaking with Angela Cardwell, who is working with the Summer Meals Program. And Angela, thank you so much for talking with us today. Please let our viewers know how the Summer Meals Program has gone this year.
It's gone great. We've been able to work off of the Seamless Summer Option waivers that the USDA had granted starting in 2020. So we've been able to do bags of food. We do 2 days worth on Mondays and 3 days worth on Wednesdays at all of our housing locations. And we've been coming to the library every day to do lunch at the library. And I believe we've been doing it at this spot since 2015.
Oh wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's a great turnout that you guys have. Do you have any kind of ballpark figure of maybe how many families that you get a chance to get to each summer, or is it?
Each day we're serving probably close to 700 families, 700 children.
Wow.
700 children.
That's amazing and fantastic. That's
Yeah.
great. And you guys, you were kind of explaining to me how the federal funds work a little bit. Can you explain a little bit how that works?
Sure. So we are an independent business, essentially. So we get paid a reimbursement per meal that we serve based on breakfast and lunch. So if we're not serving meals, then we don't have funding coming in.
Right. Well, again, it's a fantastic turnout, and it's such a great thing that you're doing for our community, and we absolutely appreciate what you do. Anything else you need to throw out to the public to let them know about, or?
We are so excited that we've had so much of an increase in participation this summer. When we go back to school this coming year, USDA no longer has the ability to grant the waivers for free meals, which we've had for 2 years. So we have 4 of our schools that are still qualifying for CEP, which is Community Eligibility Provision. This is based on poverty levels. This will be our 8th year that we've started that. So Bel Air, Jack T. Farah, East Lincoln, and East Middle will still continue free breakfast and lunch based on that situation. Robert E. Lee, West Middle School, and THS do not qualify, unfortunately. So we will have free and reduced applications. We will send home one with every child. We will still be qualifying students through direct certification, and then it will be paid for anyone other than that. So all of our meal pricing is on our website. It will be given out at each school, but I do want families to prepare and know that we will still be serving, and it is a service that we're going to keep continuing to do. Unfortunately, we just can't continue it at free.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much. The community thanks you for all of the great work that you do, and keep it up, and thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
The food truck stops at Lanham Library on a daily basis at 11:30 a.m. on Mondays. The district will provide 2-day meal packs, with a 3-day pack being supplied on Wednesday at the following locations: Tullahoma Village at 12:15 p.m., Whispering Oaks at 12:35 p.m., Cedar Lane Village 1:10 p.m., Highland Court 1:45 p.m., Ada Farrell 2:30 p.m., Briarwood Apartments at 2:50 p.m., Eastgate Apartments at 3:10 p.m., Dossett at 3:30 p.m. rather, until the program ends on July the 22nd. We'll be right back after these messages.
MacArthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words:
welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at MacArthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at MacArthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Welcome back. More than 75 students were selected by the respective districts to participate in one of 4 Motlow-sponsored camps. Current and former Motlow students, Motlow Megatronics instructor Melissa Paz and former Warren County STEM teacher Joyce Britton were on hand to kick off the STEM camps in McMinnville. Student volunteer Zachary Clark said that the camp did an amazing job of engaging the students and that they caught on quickly. While Paz said, quote, "When a student smiles, laughs, and beams with excitement over something they have struggled to create, as an educator, this is what we strive to see," end quote. The STEM camp gives the students more than just an understanding of robotics. It gives them the ability to build a robotic system with a brain, motor, gears, wheels, and other building components. After the robot is built, the brain is programmed with a software language and linked through Bluetooth to a motion control device for directional control. Paz explained, quote, "It challenges and builds cognitive skills. It makes them think. They become engineers and want to experiment with different components to see what they can make them do either faster or slower. It makes them work with teammates, which is key to success in their careers. Learning should be fun, and Vex Robotics makes it fun. I love watching the students succeed in their endeavors over the 3 days of camp," end quote. Students begin with simple instructions to make a car. Various labs introduced programming to their creations to drive themselves. Participants were encouraged to think about how to improve their vehicle, how to provide feedback, and how to enhance their code. The staff was proud of the work of students and put into the projects. Tennessee Valley Robotics donated Vex IQ robots for the middle school students to build and program. Vex IQ is based on plastic snapped together pieces designated to build highly functional robots. No prior knowledge is required. The events were made possible by a GIVE grant funding to bolster megatronics and robotics education in Motlow's 11-county service area. Staff hopes the students continue to build on their interest in megatronics and robotics and maybe even come to Motlow to get their education. The first camp occurred June the 28th through the 30th at Warren County Middle School in McMinnville. In July, 2 camps will take place simultaneously in Fayetteville, one for middle school robotics and another for high school students to learn Python coding taught by Motlow instructor Donald Schote. The final camp will take place July 26th through the 28th at the Thurman Francis Arts Academy in Rutherford County. More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
Here at Barkview Senior Living, they're human friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Parkview Senior Living, for your dog's best friend, you.
Welcome back. On our Insight Show, host John Gray has been speaking with Tullahoma Alderman candidates about why they are running and what they are hoping to accomplish if elected. In this clip, we hear from the current Alderman, Rupa Blackwell.
Honestly, the reason why I'm running for Alderman again is exactly the same reason why I ran last time, and I think you can all agree, I want Tullahoma to be a place where our children will come back to raise their children. That probably sounds like a very selfish thing to say, but I know we all love our kids and we want to make sure that they will want to be able to come back and move here. And not just want to, but be able to. So to me, that means a lot of different things for us regarding making sure that my kids will be able to have a job when they come back here, that they'll be able to have good schools, that they'll be able to get around easily and have the amenities that they want to. So for me, I'm really proud of the work our board has done the past few years. First year I was on it with Coach Mathis. And there's a lot of work that we've done that I'd like to see continue. Since being elected, I've seen us double the amount of funding we've put towards our streets, which is important. Street paving is something we hear from our community all the time. And it also makes sure that as we pave them, people can get to their jobs without getting a broken tire.
Right.
Is that the word for it? We've been putting money towards sidewalks. I think this next year we have $1.2 million allocated towards sidewalk improvements. Another big important thing for us all, as we know, school system. We as a board, no, we don't decide what the school board does, but we are tasked to help with funding for the school system. So Jack T. Farah Elementary's rebuild is important. It's necessary, and I'm excited to support that. I was very happy to support that, and I want to continue to support those things. But I also think as being alderman, and what I've loved the most and what really helped me to realize that I wanted to run again is our community. Tullahoma is made up of the most amazing people. I truly believe Tullahoma's the biggest asset we have are our citizens, right? And I've gotten to see that firsthand, I think, since I've been elected. I've gotten to work with them on projects outside of the boardroom that I heard from within the boardroom that we could then take and put to work the concerns and questions that they had and work together on. The Tullahoma Winter Shelter Project, where we worked with the churches and nonprofits to open up their doors to our citizens who are experiencing homelessness during the coldest months. Seeing the community come together, to volunteer together, to work together, to care for one another was amazing. The Jefferson Street Park Project, where I went out there and worked with the Sports Council to raise money to rebuild those basketball courts. I mean, it's one of those things where as I do the work in the community, it makes me more and more committed to doing right for our citizens. Our community really works hard to help each other, to show each other love, compassion, and to be there for one another. And to me, just like what we were saying, for service, this is why I'm running again, is because I want to serve the people of our town.
What's your thoughts on that, on the building, the code type stuff? I know we've had a lot of problem with it. We've made a lot of good strides, but I'm sure there's still things we need to do to help that be more efficient and more customer friendly and still do the right thing.
Well, and that's the thing. So I think I sat on the planning commission. I did for 3 years. Oh, you want to talk about a difficult places, and I loved it because you learn so much about your community. And there's what's legal versus what's within our codes, what's within what the state expects us to do, et cetera. But what I think you're hitting at, more importantly, is regarding growth. Yes, I think what the 2040 plan is showing us, as well as what we are as anecdotally seeing and what our housing market is showing, is we are seeing growth right now, fast. I really believed when I first ran, I'd sat on the planning commission for a year, and what I saw was our land use map was outdated. It had a lot of irregularities that were incorrect. For example, Washington Street was zoned industrial when there were homes there. And so that was why, for me, it was really important for us to do this comprehensive land use map. Because it was inaccurate. We're having to go back and fix things. That's what this 2040 plan is to develop. But what I think is the hardest part, and what I really, from what I understand from Mary, is important, is that while we do know growth is coming, how do we do it while we still preserve the essence of our community? Right? How do we do that? And I think the things that we should be doing is focusing on our downtown revitalization, continue to focus on South Jackson and North Jackson to ensure that we are investing there so that when we do, we aren't pushing people out. We're trying to build from the community center. I think that's very important. I think that growth, as we prepare for growth, looking at it, 2040 plan, that's 20 years from now, that's how far we have to look out so that we can be prepared for that. We were just talking about the cost of some of the things in the 2040 plan, right? The investments needed. But as we look, it has to be measured so that we can keep up with the infrastructure needed to provide the services and allow that for our people to drive on our streets.
Sure.
So that's why I think it's so important for us to have a plan or an idea of a plan so that we know what we're going to need to do to provide the services we need. Thank you all for electing me 3 years ago. I'm really proud of the work that we have done together. I think our community, as I said earlier, we have worked together to do some great things, from the emergency shelter, winter shelter project, to the Jefferson Street Park project, to the domestic violence work I do within the community, but also to do things within the boardroom that are important. And I promise to continue to invest in those same things that we have. Infrastructure, specifically roadways, sidewalks, making sure I support our school system, making sure that we have a plan for growth, that it's manageable, and that we do it in a smart way so that we preserve our community's essence. I thank you all for the past 3 years, and I hope to serve you again, because I've really, truly loved it. Thank you.
We'll be right back after these messages.
MacArthur Manor Assisted Living is passionate about creating better experiences for our Manchester seniors. Our residents describe us in a few words.
Welcoming.
When you walk through the doors at MacArthur Manor, we'll treat you like family.
Caring.
Through high standards of personalized care, we help residents live life to its fullest.
Engaging.
With a wide range of life-enriching activities, there is something for everyone at MacArthur Manor. With our residents and staff now vaccinated, call us today to schedule your safe and personalized tour.
The individuals with dementia, those with Parkinson's, those that have maybe mobility issues, need caregivers. Well, those caregivers are 24 hours a day at home, and they never get a rest. And if they have to go to work, they're kind of out of luck. So that's why Trinity came into existence 25 years ago, to allow the caregivers to have a safe center where they could put their loved ones, know they would be well cared for, stimulated, fed good nutritious meals, have activities to their level, and then the caregiver can stop by and pick them up and go on home and have some continuity into their life.
Welcome back. The Tennessee State Parks Department prepared this video explaining some of the history surrounding the origins of Old Stone Fort State Park in Manchester.
Hey y'all, Park Ranger Gardner here at Old Stone Fort State Archaeological Park in Manchester, Tennessee. Here at Old Stone Fort, we are filled with 2,000 years worth of history that you can find right here on this 1.25 mile trail. So what is Old Stone Fort? Old Stone Fort is a prehistoric Native American ceremonial site. The mounds here were created by the Woodland Native Americans, the first indigenous people who would have inhabited this area. 2,000 years ago, they would have celebrated out here at Old Stone Fort, doing things that we do today to celebrate big events. They would have been feasting, dancing, there might have been some prayer going on, and there would have been thousands and thousands of people who would have gathered here at the site. Now, Old Stone Fort isn't really a fortification. That's a misnomer. Old Stone Fort is a ceremonial site. So the mounds here weren't built to keep anyone out or to keep anyone in. They were simply constructed to define a space. And the space they are defining is the field back there. That is where the indigenous people would have hosted their ceremonies. So one of the big events the prehistoric Native Americans would have been celebrating here is the summer solstice sunrise. That's a very special day, as it is the first day of summer. If we look back up the trail, we'll notice that this trail and the mounds are aligned with this very special sunrise. Old Stone Fort State Park sits between two rivers, the Big Duck River and the Little Duck River, which merged in the back of the park to form the Duck River. The river is important to the site, as it is probably the reason why the prehistoric indigenous people would have chosen this site. Most of our archaeological sites, such as this mound site, were constructed near water areas, such as the rivers. The Duck River, the Big Duck River, holds two waterfalls, the Big Waterfall and Blue Hole Falls. The Little Duck River houses one waterfall, Step Falls. So these waterfalls, or the rivers in general, are really significant to this area, as the Duck River is known as one of the most ecologically diverse rivers in North America. So that ecological diversity is going to be in invertebrate species, vertebrates such as mammals, we've got birds, we've got river otter who come out here to play. The Native Americans would have found exceptional significance for these rivers, as the rivers act as a mirror to the other side. So by surrounding their sacred site with these water features, the two rivers, they are further endowing this site with sacred significance.
Stay with us, your weather forecast is coming up next.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
I was skeptical about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. There are a lot of opinions being shared. But I had the chance to talk with my doctor about my concerns. He told me the vaccines are backed by decades of research, and that the vaccines are proven safe and effective. Now I'm protected and ready to put this pandemic behind us. Join the millions of Tennesseans who have decided to give COVID-19 vaccines a shot. Visit covid19.tn.gov to find an appointment today.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1954 at 100 degrees. Record lows at 1897 at 51 degrees. Average high on this day is 87 and the average low is 68. Clear weather in the forecast for tonight with a low of 65. Sunny weather expected on Friday with a high of 90 and a low of 68, and mostly sunny weather on Saturday with a high of 88 and a low of 69. And that's our news leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6.